All right, so today you're going to continue writing equations of lines, and we're going to start with standard form. Standard form of a linear equation. And standard form of a linear equation looks like ax plus by is equal to c. That's the format that the equation needs to follow or fall into in order for it to be in standard form. So you're going to have three different sets of problems today. So if the directions ask you to write the equation in standard form, and you're given something that looks like, and actually write the equation in standard form, use integer coefficients. That means the numbers in front of the x and the y have to be whole numbers, okay? The numbers in front of the x and the y have to be whole numbers. So if you're given an equation in slope-intercept form, y is equal to 3/4 x minus 5, and you've got to write it in standard form, all right? Standard form is ax plus something times y is equal to c. So we got to get this 3/4 x on the left side of the equation. So we subtract 3/4 x from each side. And we get something like negative 3/4 x plus y is equal to negative 5. Now, we're closer to it looking like standard form, but we've got a fraction in front of the x. So when you get a fraction in front of the x or the y, multiply both sides of the equation by whatever's in the denominator. And that'll turn that fraction into a whole number. So 4 times negative 3/4, well, the 4's would cancel out, and you'd be left with negative 3. So we get negative 3x plus 4y is equal to negative 20. And that is your equation in standard form with integer coefficients. If you had something like y equals 1/2 x minus 4, subtract 1/2 x from each side. So you'd get negative 1/2 x plus y is equal to negative 4. Multiply both sides of the equation by 2. So these 2's in this first part of the distributive property cancel. So 2 times negative 1/2 x is negative x plus 2y equals negative 8. Everybody okay with that? All right. The other thing you will see today is y is equal to 9.1x plus 3.6. And you need it in standard form. So use the same technique, subtract 9.1x from each side. Get negative 9.1x plus y is equal to 3.6. And now, if your two decimals just have one number to the right of the decimal, then multiply everything by 10. If you have two numbers to the right of the decimal, multiply everything in the equation by 100. That will get rid of the decimals. So if we multiply the whole left side by 10 and the whole right side by 10, 10 times negative 9.1 is negative 91x plus 10 times y is 10y, and that's equal to 3.6 times 10 is 36. So there's your equation in standard form using integer coefficients. All right, in the next part of your assignment, you're going to be asked to find the intercepts and graph the line. And this is one thing that's really nice about standard form, is they're very simple to graph. So if we've got 3x plus 5y is equal to 15. Finding the intercepts means find out where this line hits the x-axis and the y-axis. And you do that by writing two equations. You write one equation and you delete the 5y, or you delete whatever's with the y. So one equation is 3x equals 15. What we're really doing is we're making y equal to 0. And then you do the same thing making x equal to 0. So that would be 5y equals 15. So solve for both variables. We get an x that's equal to 3. We get an x that's equal to 5, I'm sorry. And a y that's equal to 3. What that means is that one of the intercepts is at 5, 0, because we made the y 0 up here, and that's what got us to 3x equals 15. And our other intercept is when we set the x equal to 0, and our y was equal to 3. So if you had to graph that, we're going 5, 0, so there's 5, 0, and then 0, 3, And then you can just put a line through them. So there is the graph of this equation finding intercepts. Let's do one more of those. You're given the equation 2x minus 4y, and it's equal to 8. So we're going to have a 2x that's equal to 8. That's when our y is equal to 0. And when our x is equal to 0, we got a negative 4y that equals 8. So if you solve them both, we get an x that's equal to 4 and a y that's equal to negative 2. So our x is equal to 4 when y is equal to 0. And when our x is equal to 0, our y is equal to negative 2. So then you can graph it. So we got 4, 0. And 0, negative 2. And then just put a line through them. Any questions on that technique? All right, then the last part of the assignment is you're going to be asked to write an equation. And let's make this note first. Let's say that parallel lines have the same slope. All right, parallel lines, lines that don't intersect. You guys all took geometry. Parallel lines don't intersect. They don't intersect because they have the same slope. They can't ever touch each other if they have the same slope. Perpendicular lines intersect at 90 degrees. And their slopes are negative reciprocals. Negative reciprocals. Negative reciprocals is when you take a number and you flip it over, right? And negate it. So if we did a little column, if we had a number and then we had its negative reciprocal, if we have a 2, which is really 2 over 1, right? Its negative reciprocal would be negative 1/2. If our number or our slope is 1/2, then the slope of a line perpendicular to it would be negative 2 over 1, which is negative 2. If a line has a slope of negative 3/5, then the slope of a line perpendicular to it would be 5/3. Negative reciprocal. It's got the opposite sign, and the fraction is flipped. So the last section of your practice today, you'll be asked, what is the equation in slope-intercept form? And it would be something like parallel to y equals 6x minus 2 through 1 negative 3. What's the slope of the new line got to be? It's parallel. What's the slope of y equals 6x minus 2? Isn't the slope between the equal sign and the x? So isn't the slope 6? All right. And we're going through a point. So we're going to write an equation in point-slope form that's got a slope of 6. And then we're going to simplify it to be in slope-intercept form. So point-slope form, we're going to say that y plus 3 equals 6 times x minus 1. We're going to do the distributive property on the right side. So y plus 3 equals 6x minus 6. And then we're going to subtract 3 from each side. So y is equal to 6x minus 9. That would be your equation. Parallel to the given equation because they both have the same slope, but it goes through the point 1, negative 3. The second type of problem you'll see in this category will be write an equation of the line in slope-intercept form perpendicular to y equals negative 4x plus 3. So we're writing the equation of a line perpendicular to y equals negative 4x plus 3, but it goes through eight, 5. So since we know a point and we know the slope of the new line, we write it in point slope form first. So y minus 5 equals, what's the negative reciprocal of negative 4? 1/4 times x minus 8. Distributive property, so y minus 5 equals 1/4 x minus 2. And then add 5 to each side. And y is equal to 1/4 x plus 3. 1/4 times x is 1/4 x, and 1/4 times negative 8 would be negative 2. Any questions? All right, your practice for today is going to be on page 86. (22 through 29). 32 through 35. And you guys have 10 topics this week. Please get in the habit of checking for an electronic assignment every day.